All right, folks, that was a big one. But if you made it to the other side, then you're about to see some new features. So the first thing we're gonna do before we go any farther, I don't know if you noticed this, whenever I type a new tweet, a new meow, I hit submit, it says this pop-up, which I made in the code, but then I have to refresh the page in order to see it. This is the thing I just added. So what I'm going to do is make it automatically refresh these meows without refreshing the page. This is where another place where the beauty of Angular comes in, the beauty of Ajax. So as soon as I make this post, when I submit the new meow, I'm actually going to call this guy again. So I'm going to make this a function, so I can call it again. Function get meows, like so. I'm going to move this into the function. Oops. I'm going to move that into the function. So now I can just call, when the page starts up, I could just call get meows, and that will load all of them. So also, let me put the newest one at the top. I wonder if I could do that. Sort. Actually, I didn't put a timestamp on these, so I don't think we'll be able to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and instead of an alert, I'm just going to refresh the meows whenever I submit a new meow. So first, when I click submit, it's going to call this function. It's going to post to the, send a post request to the server with the new meow. And then after that's done in the callback function, I'm going to call this guy, and that's going to refresh it. So let's try it out. Let me refresh it with the latest page. See, I have, this is the last one. So let me add a new one. I'll call it a new one again and submit. And there it is, a new one again. And one more thing, I'm going to clear this box out so you know it worked. So I'm going to do this. Scope.new meow. I'm going to, oops. I'm going to set it equal to nothing. And then save that. And then refresh. Okay, so let's say hello new hello clear, and hit submit, and boom, it's gone, and it's down here. So there we go, we got ourselves a little functional app. So what I want to do in this video is what I want to do in this video is be able to delete one of these guys. So I'm going to add an X button on the right for each of these. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. I'm going to put a little span. That's the new one. I got to put it inside here. Span. Actually, no, I don't need a span. I'm just going to do ahref. So it'll be a link. So usually when I start a new link, I just put ahref just to, get my fingers moving. And then I'm going to put delete. Oops. Save that. So for each of these, there should be a delete link. Okay. I think there's a glyphicon for that. So let me see. Glyphicons. Bootstrap. Remember, we're using the glyphicons in Bootstrap. There should be like an X or a close or delete button. Oops. No. Control find. Nope. It's not. No. Remove. Okay, there's an X. So I'm just gonna copy this. Put it inside the link, and then do glyphicon remove. Oops. Save that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, there we go. We have a little X button we can click to delete it. So in Angular, you don't do ahref for like making functionality. You do ng click. So this is how I usually do it: href ngClick, and then have a call function like remove meow, and I'm gonna pass it the meow that I'm currently on. So ngClick equals remove meow, which is going to be a function that we're about to define, and then we're going to pass it as an argument the current meow in our array in ngRepeat. So this is how you do that. And then up here, I'm going to do scope. I'm doing scope dot delete meow because I'm calling it, or sorry, remove meow is what I called it. I'm doing scope dot remove meow and not function remove meow because I need to call it from my front end, from that delete button. If I just did function remove meow, nothing would happen because it wouldn't be able to find it. So id equals function meow. Remember that's getting passed in, and then I put a semicolon. You don't put a semicolon when it's defined this way. You put a semicolon when a function is defined as a variable. It's just like a little JavaScript thing. You don't have to, okay, but you should. It's the right thing to do. Do the right thing. So I'm just going to copy this. I do a lot of copy pasting. Just bear with me. And instead of http.post, I think it's http.delete. I'm pretty sure. Let me just remove all these and confirm that for you. $HTTP. Oops. HTTP. Let me see the docs. And delete URL and config. Let's see here. Put. I'm just gonna do put for now. It's a little bit easier to understand because put lets me send data, and if I do delete, I can't send data the easy way. I have to like say like a configuration with like params and stuff. So I'm just gonna say meow, and then scope, or just put meow here. It's a little confusing because I have meow as the property name and the value has the same name, but you're allowed to do this in JavaScript. Like I should really call this like delete this meow, delete this meow, and then like shoe that into the thing I'm sending over. But I think it's a little messy. I like how this looks simple. It's like simplicity. So I'm gonna put meows, and I'm gonna call it /remove. So I'm gonna send a put request, and when that comes back successfully, just like before, I'm gonna refresh my list of meows. I got rid of the thing that clears out the text box because this is kind of non-consequential to the text box. Like if you type some stuff and delete a meow, you don't want it to clear out the text box. So I'm just gonna have it refresh my meow so you see the deleted guy gone. So now this is sort of hooked up on the front end. Now let's hook it up on the back end. So we need a put route called meows remove. So let's see what we got over here. Let's copy this post route. I like put and post are kind of similar. I could do post, but I could do post here, but put's good too. Put meows remove. People usually use the word put for when you're modifying something. They use post for when you're making a new thing. So if you're making a new meow, you definitely use post. But if you're just removing it, I can use put or delete. Very similar. So first thing I do is I get my collection of meows. Then what I should do is meow collection dot delete, I think it is. I don't know. And in the delete function, I think I need to specify my search arguments. And then dot. And then comma. I'm not sure. Let me just check. Where did that node MongoDB driver example go? Basic introduction. Okay, I think this was it. Let's see if I can remove. Okay, here it is. Collection.remove. Okay, similar to the it's similar to the other one. Let me do Control Z. So this is what we had before. We had something that was it was inserting it. I just changed it to delete, but it's actually called remove. So I get my collection, then I do meows collection.remove, and then for the argument, I'm going to give the ID of it. So I think it's everything has an underscore ID. So what I can do is should be meow ID equals, it's really going to be equal to rec.body.meow.underscore ID, because if you remember in the front end, I'm passing the entire meow back in an object with a property meow, and the value is the actual meow that we want to delete. So we do rec.body.meow to access the value, which is a meow, and then I get the ID of that meow. So I set that to this thing, and then I'm like, yo, meows collection, just remove anything with this ID, which is really only one thing. Everything has a unique ID. And so once it removes it, I'm just going to send back the success. So I think that's it. Remove asynchronous execution. Okay. So yeah, that should work. Let's just make sure it works. Let's go back to our website. When we remove this guy, it should automatically refresh it. So let's see what happens. Oh, it did not work. I like how things don't work, because then we can see what we overlooked. No console errors. Let's see if there's a server error. Did not see a server error. App.put. Let's do console.log here. It helps the console.log on the server just to see if the request came in. Let me refresh it. Okay. Console is not, oh, sorry, console. Okay, well, at least it got to this line. Let me move it to the next line. Console helps us spell things right, otherwise you get errors. Okay, so let's try this again. Refresh, delete. Okay, got that far. Seems to not be removing it from the collection though. MongoDB. Remove ID. Let's log the ID that we're passing. Let's log the meow ID that we want to delete. Let's see what happens. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so that's the ID of the object. Let's just make sure that's in our database. And I could see it right here. This is the dude right here. I must be doing something wrong. Let me just go back to that tutorial. Let's just add a remove example. Let's see if there's an example of this somewhere. Actually, to be honest, I think I know what's wrong. I think I need to do, oops. I think there's something special about the ID. Remove by underscore ID. Let's see if this works. Underscore ID. Update. No, that should work. Collection dot remove. Why isn't this removing? Let's see what the result is like when this runs. So let's do console.log result. Oops. Get rid of this guy. Save. I always love debugging. Always something new I learn. Okay, let's refresh this, and okay, this is the result. Okay, 1, I guess that means it worked, but N0 means it didn't touch anything. So for whatever reason, it's not finding this thing here. Why isn't it working? Maybe it's this argument, W1. Let me remove that, just in case. I don't think that would be the reason, but something's not right here. No, that wasn't it. Return res.send. Underscore ID. That's gotta work. Let me say node MongoDB driver not removing by ID. You can kind of just Google what's not working. Remove record by ID. It looks like someone had the same exact problem. Okay, I had a feeling this would be it. I didn't think this would be it, but I kind of knew this in the back of my mind that if you're gonna do the ID field, it's a little bit special. You have to do this MongoDB.objectID thing. In fact, we can actually do that up here. You can say something called object ID, and it's a property of the MongoDB library, the driver. So what you have to do is put this line up here to define object ID by using the MongoDB library, and down where you actually compare IDs, you have to initialize an object ID. I think this is what you have to do. Let me get rid of this log. Pretty sure this is going to be what's it. Again, experience always helps. And there you go. It just worked. So did you see that? Here we go. I'm going to delete this meow. Done. Gone. 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 Oh, this is brutal. Bye. Bye. So I just deleted a whole bunch. And right after I delete it, I refresh it using that that nested function. So let me, just to recap, I added a new link. The new link contains an X, like a glyphicon remove icon. I surround it with a href, but I don't use the href attribute like the olden days. I use ngClick, and ngClick calls remove meow and passes in the current meow in the current array. See how ngRepeat meow and meows? So the current meow I'm going to pass into this function, and in this function is defined right here. The function meow is the argument. It says call this route with a put request and pass in this data. This data is the meow that we want to get rid of. And then once that's done successfully, then we refresh our meows using the get meows function. So it all happens all at once. In fact, it doesn't happen all at once. I first remove it, and then it could take another second to refresh it. But as soon as I hit the X button, it removes it, and it's on my local host, so it's pretty seamless. So there you go. That's that. In the next video, we're gonna make a way to log in and start to make your tweets personal, make them your own. So we'll make this more functional. Stay tuned.